The Bible is a living word that reads us as we read it. It's a person, a voice that proves that time is not linear, as one sentence can confirm the past, guide the present, and declare the future. You are here. I am here. He is here. We are here right now. In the tomorrow of yesterday and in the yesterday of tomorrow, I thank you for joining today. So we're back. Thank you so much for joining again. It's great to have you here. I say that all the time and I mean it. So the last episode we talked about Abimelech and how Abraham found himself doing the same old thing that he did before in Egypt. He thought it was a good idea to cover himself to claim that Sarah was his sister, not his wife. And he could have gotten some. He actually did get some more people in trouble, namely Abimelech, who was the king of this space called Gerar. But later on in time, despite the fact that Abraham was not upfront with Abimelech to begin with, Abimelech saw a covering over Abraham and decided to ally himself with Abraham because he's like, yeah, I think you'd be good for me and I could be good for you too. And so that's kind of where we left off last episode. Before we move on today, I want to even go back a little bit further and give just like a general recap in case you are just tuning in for the first time and you haven't listened to previous episodes. So we're talking about this cat named Abraham and his wife Sarah. They were living in this town called Haran. I don't know where you want to put the accent in there, but Haran. They were kicking it there, doing life. God called him and said, "Yo, Abraham, I'm gonna do something real special with you, man. Like, I'm gonna bless you, and I'm gonna make a great nation out of your descendants. I'm gonna give your descendants all of this land, and I'm going to I'm gonna bless them, and I'm gonna bless the people who bless them, and I'm gonna curse the people who curse them, and just move in faith, go where I tell you, and then when you get there you'll know it and all of this other stuff." So Abraham, he's like bet he ends up leaving, blindly followed God, and took his wife, took his nephew, and they found themselves having some different run-ins here and there. But at the end of the day, God promised Abraham something that was going to be multi-generational, and at the time he didn't have any children. So that was a really big deal. And his wife, Sarah, was barren. She wasn't able to have children. So they kind of devised their own plan. And Sarah was like, all right, cool. I can't have babies, but my servant can. So get with her, have a baby with her. And then, maybe God will bless our idea rather than us waiting to see what his plan is. And so it didn't really, it didn't really play out the way that they wanted it to at the end. But we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But at the end of the day, God ended up visiting Abraham again, and he's like, "Yo, like this is the covenant. This is what I promised you. This is the understanding, but it was never meant to be through the servant Hagar. Like, I'm gonna bless Ishmael because he's your son, but again, Ishmael was your idea. He wasn't mine, and so." Just to make it very clear to you, my blessing is going to be through the son that your wife has, which was a miracle in and of itself because, again, Sarah wasn't able to have children. But God blessed her womb, blessed their union, and did what he promised. And that's where we pick up today. Sarah actually has this baby boy, and she is well in age. She's 90. Abraham is 100, and this baby boy is born to her. And there's a scripture that I say a lot. It says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life." I cannot imagine how callous her heart may have been, or how hopeless she may have become at some point in life, in the journey of her trying and trying and trying and trying, only to find out that it couldn't happen. And then for it to happen. So when Isaac was born, even before Isaac was born, God told Abraham to name their son Isaac. So when he was born, they obeyed. They named him Isaac, which means to laugh. And I imagine that Sarah held this beautiful baby boy. And what she said, she's like, God has given me laughter. Pun intended, because his name means to laugh, but also because she's like, this is laughable. She was like, yo, who would have thought that us, like, him, look at him. Like, who would have thought he would have been able to give me children? Who would have thought I could have carried, like, so it's a really big deal that this happened, and great things are about to happen through Isaac. Um, but here we have it. Sarah has her baby boy. She is joyous. I'm sure like, she's gained years and years and years of her life back in the joy of birthing something that she thought was impossible. And uh, Abraham, he's a happy father. Sarah's a happy mother. Isaac is growing and growing. He gets to the age where he's about to be weaned. And Abraham, he threw this whole big feast. They're about to celebrate it. They like barbecuing or whatever. And Sarah, she's like peeping the game, and she sees Ishmael, which is the son of the side chick who was Hagar, Sarah's servant. So she sees Ishmael, Abraham's other son, making fun of Isaac. Sarah's like, nah, not gonna have it. Not gonna have it. So she goes to Abraham. She's like, babe, I love you, but she gotta go and he gotta go too, because he is not going to be an heir of this blessing. Like, he is not going to be able to inherit any of the blessings that belong to my son. And so Sarah's like, get your hugs in now, but they got to get to stepping. And Abraham was distraught. Like, he was torn, because he's like, babe, like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I get it. Isaac is your baby, like, that's your boy, and he's our son. He's our miracle son. Like, I get it. He's a big deal, but that's my son too. Like, you want me to part ways with Ishmael because you in your feelings right now? And Abraham, he was really upset about it. But God spoke to Abraham, and he's like, listen, yeah, I know it's gonna hurt. But you gotta let him go. You gotta do what your wife is telling you to do. I'm gonna make sure he's good. I'm gonna bless him. I'm gonna make sure that he has a lot of descendants too. But what I'm about to do, like I told you before, I'm going to do through Isaac. So Abraham, the next day, he packed Hagar and Ish some food and some water, and sent them on their way. Hagar and Ishmael are just aimlessly wandering in the wilderness, just like, yeah, I don't know where I'm going. Like, where am I supposed to go? And it it got to the point they were wandering for long enough for them to run out of water. And so they thirsty. And one day Hagar, she actually like sits ish under the tree. She goes almost as far as a football field. And she's like, I can't stand to watch him die, because we need water. Like, he's gonna die of thirst out here, and I can't watch it. So she's like grieving him before his death even. And it says that God heard the cries of Ishmael and spoke to Hagar and told her, like, yo, I hear your son crying. And I know I talked to you before, like, I see you, right? Like, I told you I see you, I got you. And I told you before, I'm gonna give your son a lot of descendants. And in order to do that, he gonna have to live. So I'm letting you know now he ain't gonna die. I got you. I got him. It's good. And he God opened Hagar's eyes, and she saw a water source, and they were able to drink and be filled. There's so much. This particular like chapter is packed with so many different things. The love of a mother, the grief of a child. Like, what does it look like when there is baby mama drama and one mom withholds um, that that parental tie, or she interrupts that parental tie? Like, Abraham had to part with his son because Sarah was in her feelings. Like, just seeing how this has been happening. Like, families have been torn before, and they're still being torn now, for whatever reason. And so, just because Sarah had an idea and gave Hagar to Abraham, Abraham had a son with her. Hagar is now abandoned and, like, well, really dismissed. She's like downright dismissed, and she's having to figure it out. But even in that, God is with her, and I love that part of God that He shows us. Like, it doesn't matter how you got where you are. Like, I see you too, and even though they didn't choose you, it doesn't mean that I'm not very, very aware of what's going on with you. And I love that. I love it about God. So yeah, we're gonna stop there. God is about to challenge Abraham in a big way, and we're gonna see that in our next episode. If the Lord wills me to be able to lay down another episode, I look forward to it. If I do, I thank you for your time. Whether I do or not, I thank you. I thank you for your time. I look forward to when we meet again. Until then, bye for now.